This die block here that we're doing some analysis on, and I've got PolyWorks V12 open right now, and what I've got is this little feature on that die block is in question on its location. So what I want to do is I want to measure up some of the edges of that with surface points or with some comparison points just to see how that compares back to the CAD. So what I've done is a reference point alignment to the datums that my client wanted me to use. And I've got a really sweet alignment on there, but what I want to do is test some of the walls of this little rectangular feature here. So instead of going to the reference and then clicking on and doing a build inspect, what that does is that checks every surface that the probe is closest to. But what I'd like to do is I would like to do individual surfaces on here just to make sure I'm picking up on the right surface. Now the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to this element selector icon here. I'll click on him. It turns my cursor to a plus key. You can see that down there. And every time I click with the left mouse button onto a surface, it highlights it red. Now I'll hit the space bar so I can kind of rotate around here a little bit. And I need to grab your space bar again. I'll grab this surface here as well as that surface there. Now I can escape out of the selection. Now I've got those four surfaces highlighted red or selected. Now that they're selected though, I can go to this icon here for surface creation. I'll click on him. And then I want to name this surface. I'll call it rectangular feature 1. And then when I hit create, notice what happens. PolyWorks goes out there and it says, okay, I've got multiple surfaces, multiple patches, and let's make those into one feature. So if I close out of that now, it shows up in my model tree. Now what I'd like to do is just go in and measure to those surfaces. So let me go here, right click, and do a build inspect. Now what the probe is doing is it's just going to be relative to those surfaces that I've highlighted and considered as one surface patch. So I'll come in here now, grab a point there, and I'll move over a little bit, grab a point there. Now let me come to the front here and grab a little point there. Now the back side, maybe 2 points there. And then I'll come to this back side and grab 1 point there. And I'll back button to get out of that. Now notice what happens here. I've got my points that are right on that surface. If I zoom in just right, you can see that there's their deviation and my color map shows up here on the right hand side. But now I've truly got points on the surfaces that I wanted to check them to. And you can barely see that point up top there. Get him to show up a little bit better since he's buried in the back there. But there's all the surface points that are only relative to this rectangular feature. And notice what they do too is they will show up underneath one of these sessions of these comparison points with this name on it. So I'm going to go through and measure the rest of those features as well. But first I'm going to construct them by using the selection of the elements and then running up here to the surface creation.